thousands of years, the Legion has hunted us. So many worlds destroyed and heroes lost.
Mortis!
We can run no longer. It is time we take the fight to them.
All forces are on board and accounted for.
After we reach Argus, we will meet with the Army of the Light and begin our invasion.
We are blessed to be in your presence once more.
Every demon we slay here dies their final death. Do not hold back.
Bring them down! You've doomed us all! The circle nears completion. The mortals must not disrupt the rebirth. We make our stand. The last battle for Argus has begun.
So yes, Patch 7.3 called Shadows of Argus. We couldn't be more excited to take players to the world of Argus. That trailer showed you a quick peek at what is in store for you, and I'd like to take a few minutes to go over it in a bit more detail. So, where we stand, this is a major content update coming around, and the fate of our world, and indeed the fate of all worlds, hangs in the balance. When we journey to Argus, what we're going to find is a story-heavy, epic experience spanning 3 distinct regions, including a new 5-player dungeon, the Seat of the Triumvirate, which is playable on the floor here at Gamescom. You can make your own groups with the friends around you and venture into that dungeon. We are, of course, extending and building upon core Legion systems like world quests, missions, and the artifact, but we also have a couple of new features to introduce. So, getting into this, first off, why is Argus such a big deal? So, for some of you who may not be familiar with it, I'd like to just explain. So, for players in World of Warcraft in the live game today, if you look up in the skies, you of course see this mysterious fell-scarred planet overhead. In the aftermath of the Tomb of Sargeras, a rift has formed linking our world to the home world of the Legion. It's in the sky above us, and we have never been closer to destruction, but also we have never had such an opportunity to strike at the very heart of their power and end the Legion threat once and for all, and perhaps win peace for Azeroth. But before that, before this planet fell to Fel, Argus was the birthplace of the Eredar, who you may know as the Draenei. It was a place where Prophet Velen ruled with Kil'jaeden and Archimonde as a triumvirate over an advanced civilization and a peaceful civilization, until Sargeras approached, Sargeras offering a dark bargain. Archimonde and Kil'jaeden, well, they bent the knee, so to speak. But Velen, he refused. And he and his followers fled Argus and came to our world, and that was the Burning Crusade. That was the beginning of the Burning Crusade, essentially. That's where the Draenei came from. And now, we are returning to that place where it all began. And even as we fight the Legion, we're also going to be able to learn a lot more about this ancient civilization. Of course, in their absence, this world festered with Fel energy. And it now stands as the homeworld of the Legion, the center of their power, and the staging ground for Sargeras' Twisted Crusade. Now, the world itself. Let's talk a little bit about the places you'll be visiting when you go to Argus in Patch 7.3. So when you first arrive, you're going to board the Vindicar, a Draenei vessel found at the Exodar, and head off to Argus. And the first area you're going to land at is known as, it's called Cro Kun. This is your point of arrival. It's outlying wilderness, not too densely inhabited, and it's home to the Krokul, broken natives who have eked out a terrible existence in the shadow of the Legion, hiding in caves, fighting for their survival, occasionally trying to strike back when they can. And you will come to the raid, you will join with them, and they will be key allies of yours in Argus. It's also where we're going to meet the Army of the Light, warriors in service of the Light, aided by the Naaru, who've been fighting the Legion's forces across the galaxy. Together, we might hope to stand a chance against their might. Of course, there are also major strongholds of the Legion's power here, too. We're going to meet new types of demons, stronger demons than we've ever faced before, that we've never seen in their frontline invasion force on Azeroth. These are their crack troops. We'll see things like where pit lords come from at their spawning grounds, and more. From there, players will move on to the second area known as Makari, the Jewel of Argus. Now, this is a large chunk of Argus ejected from the surface by the fell energies that tore the planet apart and resting in a low orbit above the planet. What this means is that it's essentially intact. It reflects a piece of the ancient Eridar civilization as it stood so long ago. This was the seat of power that I mentioned earlier. And there are magical powers at work here, restless spirits and echoes of what came before that will shed light, offering a glimpse into the past, into what came before. This is also the location of our Seat of the Triumvirate dungeon, where players will join Alaria Windrunner and venture into an area that has fallen into shadow, in fact, fallen into void. Darkness has crept into these halls.